Hello, welcome to another Great Cow BASIC tutorial. This tutorial is for the PIC18FxxQ41 chip family. We're covering 19 different tutorials here, but today we're just going to be looking at using an input, and it's going to be a switch, and by toggling the input state, we're going to change the state of a representative LED. For this, I'm using a low pin count demo board. It's the green one. I can show you one here on the desktop. It's quite a nice layout, but I am going to get a red one through hopefully by the end of these demonstrations. So this layout is here, and if you follow it through, we got let me just bring a pen up on the PowerPoint. We have a switch here, and that is connected through this resistor around to RA3, and RA3 is pulled high onto the 5-volt rail here. And this is quite a common layout, but I've given you a detail of this layout on the next slide. So RA3 is connected to that switch, and when you press that switch, RA3 will transition to 0. So in a normal state, it's pulled high. And how does that happen? I've got 5 volts, and it comes through a 10k resistor and pulls that RA3 high with a protecting resistor of 1k. When I push the switch down here, it will bring this circuit to a low state because this pulls it to 0V here. Easy. So let's have a look what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to initialize the board. We've done that before. We're going to set the LED off. We're then going to check the state of the LED, and if it's pushed down, we're going to toggle the LED. If it's not, we're just going to loop around forever. Okay, so we're going to call a method, and we're going to look at this method to inspect the state. But this is the core code: initialize, set the LED, and loop around, and just do it as it's going. So let's look at that, and we're also going to do a little bit of debounce on the switch at the same time, which is wonderful, really. So here we go. This is where I left the board yesterday, but essentially it's not really, because I do a lot more work during the day, and I had to rebuild it, put back it where it was. So let's have a look where we are. All the green stuff is commentary, so let's just ignore that for a moment and look at the important stuff that's on the screen here. Okay, I'll zoom in a bit tighter. What we've got is our chip statement here, which is an 18FxxQ41 and option explicit, which is what we've had before. I've laid out this little diagram here, which says we have a switch. Oh, it's on the wrong port. Let me just update that for you. There we go. It's actually on 3, which is great. It's on port A3. That's where our input is. And the LEDs are still on port C on these 4 bits. And I have some constants that we defined, a constant for that port, it's called lat C, and I've set the direction to be out of the LEDs. And then I've got some more down here, and I'll just create some space. I've said there's a switch, and it's on port A3, and it's an input. Switch in, which is our constant, in. And because some switches are pulled high or pulled low, I've said when it is down, it is set to 0 volts, or 0, it means off. So I've defined a constant called down, and we're going to use that in a moment. So let's look at the meat of the code here. I'll push the method away so that we can just see the meat of the code in the middle. Here it is. We have a very simple do forever loop. It's a simple loop, and if I just take that and indent it, you'll see there's a little line on that which says let's do that forever. And it says here wait for 10 milliseconds. I've just put that in so that it's just I can take it out. There we go, it's gone. I'll leave it in. I can take it out. I'm pleased. I'm not happy. Not fussed. I'm saying if the key is being pressed, so is key pressed equals true, then toggle the LED, and that LED is RC0. So let's program that, and then we'll see what it's doing, which is a good way of experiencing things. So it's just programming it. It's done it. I'm just going to put my finger on the top of there, and then I'm going to push this button. When I push that button down, the LED comes on. When I push it again, it goes off, down. So it's toggling it when I push that LED. Now, you could make that code do different things. You could have it go on and off when you push it down and on when it comes all up. It's down to you, but I've just done it as a toggle. So toggle state. We could have all 4 LEDs. It's not hard to do 4 LEDs, and we'll quickly change our code to do 4 LEDs. Test that, and then we're going to look at the method. So I'm just going to insert 1, 2, and 3. These are the same LEDs we were using yesterday. And there are faster ways of doing this. Let me reassure you, I am showing you a very simple way of doing toggling those LEDs. Wonderful. There we go. So how's that working? And this is the key. I'm calling a method, and that method is called key pressed. Some of you might like to put some brackets behind it, because that means it's a function. So the method could be a subroutine or a function. We're going to create a function, and a function returns the value of true or false in this particular case. If I program them up, it compiles. The braces are optional. It might be better to put something like FN in front of it so that you know what the name is. Let's just go and have a look at our newly named function. I'm going to call it function FN key pressed, and it's going to return a true or state, true or false. We know that already from our previous work. So basically, essentially, I've declared some variables called current switch state and the last switch state, so it knows where it is. And there's a small delay in here, and that delay is to stop it bouncing the switch up and down. And it says if the switching, remember switching is a constant to that switch port, if it's down, the current switch state is true. It is down. When it's down, we've set it to true. Or the other opposite of that with this if statement, if, else, end if, set it to false. Then, if the current switch state is not the last switch state, because you can then toggle it, this is how you toggle it, you just set the 2 variables. Last switch state is the current switch state, which is easy, and then the key is pressed. And you either set that to the true or false, depending on what this value is here. And if it's up, it will always return the false statement. So it's a very simple function. And here's how we define the function with its name and end function at the end. So if we go back to our program at the top, I renamed it whilst we were sitting here. Let's just have a look at that. Oh, it's complained. It says that's a reserved name. Of course it is, Evan. Okay. Funk isn't there? Look at that. Funk is not a reserved word. At least you see it go live. And we have to return back the value. There it is. Because it's a function, we have to return our value back. So I'm saying that the value of our function, we have to tell it it's the same variable name, and we just push it back. We push the state back in, and here we go. A revised program. So an input, toggling LEDs. Let's recap. We set the direction of the switch as an input, and we test against that. And all we're doing is testing against that. There are many different ways you can do this. Okay, this is a reusable function, so it has it's a good one to reuse in your own programs. I'm just tidying up here, and we've seen that we can test true or false against it, and if it's true, then we can quickly toggle our 4 LEDs. Nice and easy. Let's go back to PowerPoint. So, wanted to look at using an input to set the state of an LED. Very simple. And then tomorrow we're going to be using the same switch as as a reset. At the moment, it's not resetting the board, but we're going to use the same port to reset the chip on there. I'll show you how to do that, and we're going to look at configuration tomorrow. Thank you. Enjoy.